going on, dudes and dudettes? So yes, the AP poll recently came out, which is pretty much what everybody goes by as far as the true ranking for your college football team. And of course, USC has to be ranked number 14, so hopefully this is a good luck year because that's obviously my favorite number, and we'll see what they can do. But I remember, in recent history, they were ranked number 14 as well, and they didn't go as planned because obviously they didn't win a championship. But hoping for the best this time go around. And yes, definitely looking forward to the season starting in about 2 or 3 weeks or so. Then an NIL collective of like ex people who went to the school, alumni and stuff, started at USC called Student Body Right. And I think it's in response to knowing that their 2023 commit Malachi Nelson went to go visit Texas A&M a couple weeks ago, and they were just kind of like, well, we got to get something together to be able to put money in a big old pot to be able to give to these kids and entice them to still come to USC and want to stay at USC instead of going somewhere else where obviously in places like Texas you could get a lot more money, because I know even SMU got in trouble like over decades ago, and they pretty much lost their football program for a long time because they were caught cheating. And then I think just recently they said that every single one of their athletes is going to get at least, I want to say it was $35,000 guaranteed, which is pretty crazy. But I mean, in Texas and it's non-taxable, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, they've always had some pretty solid players out there in most recent years, but I think they're going to definitely get a lot more. So type of stuff USC is competing with, and this, I know USC, the coaches and people who are running the presidents, all that stuff right now didn't maybe want this to happen just because they know they're always going to get slapped hard if it comes to them cheating or them not doing something correctly that is considered to be cheating, and USC is always the brunt of it. So obviously other people, other schools and teams didn't get as hurt as USC did in the early 2010s, but still sort of recovering from that and finally getting back on the correct spot. So hopefully this is all still good and legal to as it is as of this second. But yeah, it's a very ongoing stuff, and it should be very interesting to see where we head off in the future. A couple of Lakers games, pretty important ones that were mentioned that might have leaked out. I believe the Lakers will be playing Dallas on Christmas Day, which would be pretty cool. A really nice matchup. Get to see one of my favorite players, Luka Doncic, play against the Lakers. What more could I ask for during Christmas? And then also the Lakers will open the season on the road. Of course, they have to play against Golden State, where they'll be getting their rings given to them. The whole introductory ring ceremony bullcrap, so they'll have to deal with that. And hopefully they could ruin their night, get that victory. But a couple nights after that, then they will come back down to LA and host the Clippers. Pretty much their Laker home game, their first one of the year. And so, yeah, of course, so a lot of tough opponents already starting out for the Lakers, but at least early on you can see where you stand up to them with what team they have on the court at that moment, because as of this second, it still hasn't passed that August 30th point when I said a lot of trades could be made official, so you never know what could happen, but definitely looking forward to those games as mentioned. Then Duke, even themselves, they brought together some type of NIL collective for their student athletes. I believe it's called INFLCR. Didn't get the full name of what each of those letters meant. But yeah, just once again, an easier way for these student athletes and people there to be able to get into these groups or companies that want to work with the athletes, be able to get their money done correctly and, looked at it, all that stuff, kind of like how USC is doing. So at least both of my schools are doing the correct thing as of this second. Then the Lakers pretty much had said that they're willing to put in both future first round picks. Before it was just the one, and they weren't going to include a second one, which is kind of why the trade talks stopped a bit for the Lakers and Nets for Kyrie Irving or any other trades. But like I said, I think I'm going to hear something more after that August 30th date, because as of right now, it's just going to be speculation or nothing official yet. So I think most teams are just going to wait until that time anyway. So players who were recently traded in the offseason could be traded around that time. So it should be very interesting, like I said, especially now that they're willing to include their future, which I don't think is the correct way. But, you know, if you're going to end up winning a championship this year, I guess it's all for the best anyways. And then Drake London, the ex-USC receiver who was drafted number 8 overall recently to Atlanta, did one play. It was a great play. It was a third down conversion. I believe it was like 20 plus yards or close to that for a first down. And then all of a sudden he hobbled off the field because I guess it was a knee injury. Apparently, according to Adam Schefter, the main, insider at ESPN, says he heard from the team that it's nothing serious. So that's always good to know. I guess they just know that they used the draft pick on him so high that they don't want anything bad to happen to him, even if it is something very small like that. That isn't probably going to hurt him if he were to still play in that game the other day. But hopefully he does get some more playing time in the preseason, because I like to be able to see what he looks like. And obviously an ex-USC guy, I always like to see them do positive things in the NFL. Then 2023 running back commit Quentin Joyner from Texas was recently named to the All-American Bowl, so he's going to be playing in that bowl game. I think that's like early February, something like that next year. So congrats to him. A lot of these USC guys are invited to these bowl games, going to be playing in them, so it's always cool to see, especially when they commit officially and put on their hats and say they're going to USC or not. And then according to this On3 Twitter post, they're saying there's like these top 25-ish or so assistant coaches out there in college football. And of course, USC has 2 of them on there that could be considered head coaches in the near future. Obviously, Dante Williams was a guy that has been at USC the past couple years, which is why it was really important that Lincoln Riley kept him on the staff, because he is a great recruiter. So I think even if he were to become a head coach somewhere, I think that's why he didn't leave anyways, because it was to a smaller type of place. And might as well just stay at USC, get your name recognition still going. If you get other talented players to come to USC, then you get an even better job somewhere. You never know. But coaching wise, I think the corners are looking a lot better this year, especially that he's more hands-on and not having to be the interim head coach once they fired Clay Helton last year. So overall looking good for him. And then also, of course, Alex Grinch, the defensive coordinator that came over from Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley, that's been around for a bit. Remember him when he was in Washington State as well. He's a guy that definitely could get a lot of looks, maybe even head coaching jobs in the NFL too. But I think I remember even a couple years back saying that he could be a look at for USC to get not only as a defensive coordinator, but maybe head coach as well. I think I was a little overzealous on that, but definitely it's time for him to step up, and hopefully he does step up for USC's defense this year. And then, the NFL has released their top 100 players from last year, and of course, a handful of guys have already made it on the first top 50 so far for my teams, and everybody USC included as well. So at number 97, we have an ex-USC player, defensive end Leonard Williams of the New York Giants, who I think he was like 80-something last year, went down a little bit, but he's still a top 100 player, which is still good. Hopefully he can boost those numbers up, just because I know it was a contract year. A lot of stuff happening to him injury-wise as well, and he got a new contract, like a 2 or 3 year deal. So he's going to be playing, with a lot more money in his bag, so hopefully he does put up some better numbers. And then number 92, they had Tyron Smith from the Dallas Cowboys, obviously an ex-left tackle for USC. It's always surprising because I never really remembered him at the time at USC. I don't know why I never remember such a talented dude. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh crap, he's on the Cowboys. It's like one of their best offensive linemen in the past decade or so. And yes, he's getting a little bit older, but still made the top 100. Overall, it's good for him. Then at number 79, the Chargers left tackle, their rookie left tackle, Rashawn Slater, made the list, even though he was just his first year in the league. He got so much respect throughout all of the NFL, and players and coaches and teams, whatever, voted him the number 79 overall. So that's really good for the Chargers' future, and hopefully he can still keep going up that list. And then, of course, number 60 overall, the Chargers center Ryan Lindsay, who's obviously their best offensive lineman, center, the most smartest guy that they stole from Green Bay. Luckily, he's on the team now. He's helping out Justin Herbert a lot, and yes, one of the better signings that they've had most recent years, so definitely glad he is there. Then his video off, you saw this on Instagram where they mentioned a couple of duos that could ruin the league or make the league a lot more interesting. They talked about the Bosa brothers. Obviously, I would hope that Nick Bosa comes down from San Francisco at some point to join his brother, Joey Bosa, in LA with the Chargers, but I don't know, because I don't think Nick has got his big extension yet, which he's most likely going to get soon. So that's still another couple years, and by that time, Joey will probably be pretty old and maybe wanting to retire anyways. But to think of those guys, especially at the edge, on the same team would be pretty freaking awesome. Then also to end us off, they had Justin Herbert pairing up with one of the top talented receivers in the NFL, Justin Jefferson. I forget if they were the same year or not. I know it's been like, it has to be 2 or 3 years, so they had to have been the same draft, and I forget if the Chargers, because I know that year they moved back into the first round when they traded with the Patriots. I just forget if Jefferson was selected before or after that, which probably would have been the best move a GM has ever made, seeing how good Jefferson has been. But yeah, just imagine these two guys on the same field, and I know Justin Herbert's looking as pretty good, pretty talented as he is now, but he doesn't really have a true dominant number one guy like a Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Jefferson, Jamar Chase, guy like that. You know, he still has Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, who are pretty solid, but you know, if he had one of those top guys, you just never know what could freaking happen. So I don't know, we'll see. Definitely a very interesting little post that I saw there. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.